So lately I've been getting a lot of questions and comments related to my work with sports videography, and I thought I'd just come on here to start making some simple tutorials to show you guys a little bit how I go about doing it and kind of give you an idea about how I go about making a sports video. For this tutorial, I thought I'd show you a little simple trick that I've come to love a lot that can just really spice up your sports videos and make them a little bit more dramatic. So we can turn this into this. This trick is known as speed ramping, also known as time remapping. I've seen it used a lot lately, but I've decided just to kind of show you a little bit of how I go about doing it and kind of give you a simple explanation or tutorial to how you can use it in your own videos. So to do this, let's head over to the computer. So obviously we have Adobe Premiere Pro pulled up here, and I have some footage already ready for us. And this is from our 2019 football season. It's one of my favorite shots that I've ever gotten to shoot. And in this clip, we're actually going to perform a little bit of time remapping, or also known as speed ramping on. In fact, we'll go ahead and play through the clip just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. And as you can tell, it's a pretty nice tackle by one of our outside linebackers. And I want to show you a little bit of how to make this even more dramatic. The first thing we have to do is make sure you have Premiere loaded up and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of the basics, and I'll make a future video about how to work with Adobe Premiere Pro. If you're interested, just comment down below if you're interested in some Adobe Premiere Pro basics. But for this tutorial, we're just going to stick with speed ramping. So all we have to do is, first of all, come down here to where the clip is on the timeline. Come down to the V1 layers. This is video. These are your video layers, and then below it all your audio layers. And come down here to where the first line is, and you want to drag this up a little bit just to give you some extra room. And then now what you want to do is you want to come down here to this little button right here. It says FX, and put your mouse on top of it and hit Control. Hold down Control. Click on it and come down here to time remapping, and then click over on speed. And so we have that ready. Before we do this, I'd like to make a little comment. When filming or when making slow motion or using time remapping or speed ramping, there's a little something that you always want to make sure that you're doing. In order to do this, you need to have your footage at least 60 frames per second, otherwise your footage will look choppy. You can do this either at 120 frames per second, 240 frames per second, but my camera at the moment, in fact, it's the camera that I'm shooting on at the moment, the Sony a6000, only goes up to 60 frames per second. And so that's just enough to perform speed ramping, and it gives you enough room in the frames per second to slow your footage down by 50% in order to make your footage look like it's a slow motion. So that's what we're going to do. So all we have to do is we come back down here to the timeline and just find a place that we want the clip to start slow motion. We can start it at about, let's see where maybe makes contact. Let's do it right here. We'll start it right here. And so now what we have to do is we'll come over here to this button right, this little pen, the pen tool right here, the pen tool, or we can hit on the keyboard, hit the letter P. As you can see, the pen tool comes up. Come over to here where we started the clip and click on the cursor. And as you can tell, this little pen marker comes up, and then we'll drag out to where we want the slow motion to end. And we'll end it after he's on the ground, about right there. And then we'll come down here down to the clip and click again. We'll make it a little bit more accurate. Sometimes it's not perfect, so you may have to fiddle with it a second. Click on it again. And so let's do it one more time. So click undo, and yeah, that should be good. And so now we'll play through it. It's obviously the same thing. And now we'll apply the effect. So now you have to just hit the letter V to go back to your regular cursor, or you can come over here and click the selection tool. And then we'll come over to the middle. So make sure you deselect your markers, otherwise it'll mess up. Come back over to the middle and just drag down on this middle line right here. And as you can see, it extends out, and you see the percentage dropping. You want to bring it down to at least about 50%. 50% is about accurate to how we want to do it. That gives you the good slow motion, it's shot at 60 frames per second, so it'll bring it down to about 30 frames per second, and then the timeline is at 24 frames per second. So it looked kind of dramatic. So we'll play through it again. As you can tell, there's the slow motion. Pretty cool, right? So that's really all you have to do. You can do this on really any clip that you have. Sometimes some clips are better than others. Usually if it's like it has a big moment, something like a big tackle, for in this case it's a big tackle, or a big play, or anything related to that, slow motion is usually good. If you're shooting a basketball, throwing a football, making a catch, scoring a touchdown are great. Things like that, your speed ramping and time remapping are awesome for. Like I said, if you have any other questions or comments, or if you want to request a topic for a future video, make sure you comment down below. And I just thank you again for watching. I'm in the process of just growing the channel, and just thank you guys for your support. Thank you to all those who already subscribed to the channel. And like I said, and like I just mentioned, if you would want more sports videography tutorials and other things related to it, be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.